live.
Finally.
Mark, we're live.
Way ahead of you.
Thank you.
All righty. As usual, we all know that if you don't have technical difficulties during this show's going to suck. So we've had technical difficulties. This should be a brilliant show. Okay. Welcome. Now, we got to spread this link around because I'm not sure if everybody's aware. So everybody on my crew, everybody's watching. You obviously don't have a chat room to report to. So once you get that link, please press on the link. We'll wait for some faces to pop up. But give us an idea to come in and interact with us. Of course, technical problems is what we savvy in, we're good at. And BeLive decided it wanted to mess with me. So what I need to do, I know why. Hold on. I need to go to Facebook right now, find the link for that show and set it to public. That's probably why you guys can't go in, and that is true. So stand by, guys. If you're listening, I just changed it on Facebook. So hopefully we'll get some faces in. We're at public on that one, so we should be good there. Let me see some faces. There we go. There's Sage. There's Cheryl. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Technical difficulties like you wouldn't believe. Okay, gotta tell you this really short and quick story, okay? I was a very, very violent guy when I was growing up, okay? I had very heavy violent tendencies. I was born, educated, and brought up in the streets of Baltimore, Maryland. But since then, moving ahead, I've learned to internalize anger a lot, where I would rant and rave, throw my arms up in the air and talk about your mother, the whole 9 yards. I've seriously learned how to internalize. What that has done to me basically is given me diabetes, only because you can, and this is serious, you can become diabetic from stress, not eating, but from stress. And causing myself to internalize a lot of anger and things that I don't understand or should go my way. I've just kind of held things in and not burst out. Although I've had some setbacks in certain times, certain days, certain years, whatever. Traditionally, I don't get angry over things I can't control anymore. So I just kind of internalize. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to introduce you guys. Sage, good to see you. Charlie, good to see you. Guys, spread around the link. I probably had to change the link location now, so I don't know if we're being found. But guys, just do me a favor and just share as much as you possibly can so we can get our regular audiences back in. I'm going to introduce this lovely lady to the right. Oh, wait a minute. Would that be Rose's left? That would be Rose's left. So to Rose's left, that way, that's correct. A Brady Bunch kid right there. Yep. This is the lovely Rachel. Rachel is Rose's daughter. Oh my God. Look at her. She's taller than Rose. She's pretty.
No, I think I weigh more, so I'm sinking down more on the bed than she is.
Oh, is that all? Is that your excuse?
A likely story.
You're gonna stick with it, right? You're slinking down. Okay, I got it, hunchback.
Your daughter just threw you under the bus like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Good morning, Garrett. Good morning, Dina. Okay, people are popping in like crazy. I love it. Please keep sharing this link since BeLive decided to throw me a wrench today, and I had to kind of reschedule the show. So
and we can't do watch parties anymore either.
Yeah, that's a Facebook thing. Facebook has eliminated watch parties, which that really makes me mad. Let me talk.
Well, it has to do with the fact that people were doing watch parties on like live streaming from like say Disney Plus or whatever, and they got hit with some really serious IP issues.
Yeah, I can understand that. Everybody wants that penny. You know, it's fine. They have the option to do this. Okay, today is excuse me, Jerome's show, but somebody who wanted to co-host was Rachel, and it's really interesting. I'm glad, Rachel, you got a hold of me.
I'm glad
first.
You're here, Rachel.
Well, hold on. I'm glad Rachel contacted me first because there was a gentleman, and I forget his name, who had texted me and told me that anytime you guys do a show in the 90s, I would like to co-host. Well, I'm sorry, sir, and I will find that email you sent me, but Rachel's a lot prettier than you, and you don't get your chance. But we will focus on the 90s again. But Fox Kids and Kids WB pretty much dominated, I think, in my opinion, in the 90s. But this is Jerome's show, and he'll tell you more about that. So, Jerome, this is your baby. You chose Fox Kids and Kids WB on Saturday mornings, and I'm glad you did because I happen to enjoy those networks during that era for specific cartoons. Take it away, Jerome.
Okay, so in the 1990s, there were two up-and-coming networks. There was actually three, but two of them merged. So they found that they needed children's programming. Why? They needed to compete with the big three. They also needed some children's programming, quote, educational program to meet FCC standards. So hence, Fox Kids, which was the first one, was created. Okay, now the problem was that the big three were winding down their children's programming on Saturday mornings. They were finding that the news shows that they were running on Saturday morning like they did in the weekdays was actually doing well for them ratings-wise. Plus, there was this new channel on cable that everyone was talking about called the Cartoon Network, and so that was cutting into a lot of ratings. And there was limits on from the FTC and FCC on children's programming commercials. The days of having a show like Transformers and then advertising Transformers toys was slowly moving towards oblivion. So because of that, that's what caused a lot of problems with both Kids WB and Fox Kids later in life. But the big three networks saw that and started shifting away. Fox Kids was created in 1990. Kids WB was in 1995. Okay. But because of changes in things like the Cartoon Network, streaming services were coming in, people could find things on the internet. Kids WB was shut down in 2008, but they were still running reruns of stuff that they'd gotten elsewhere. The Fox Kids suffered low ratings and demand from the affiliates to have the time back so they could run local programming and other things that were getting them better ratings against the big three. So Fox Kids died in 2002. So by 2008, pretty much was the end of Saturday morning cartoons as we knew it. All right. So the first one we're going to show was the first real hit for the two networks. You're going to love it. I'm sure Rachel watched this. It started in 1990, had 7 seasons. Could you please run clip number 1, please, Mark?
No.
Why not? Oh, this is unusual. Usually, Mark, you go.
Yeah. You're going to do a fantastic job of stretching, Jerome.
Okay, so the what this was, I was going to surprise people, but I'll just tell you what it is.
No.
It's Bob. It's what?
No, well, go ahead.
No, all right. I know what you're going with. All right, so
no. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jerome. I'm sorry. I'm doing 2 things
about Kids WB was that a lot of their shows that were later really influential, those shows came from other networks first. Justice League, which was very popular, started off on the Cartoon Network. Batman the Animated Series started on Fox Kids and then was brought over to Kids WB. A lot of the Warner Brothers stuff started on on the Fox Kids, and then the Warner Brothers network decided to bring it over to CW, which was part of the Warner system, and so Fox had to come up with a whole lot much of new stuff also. But that also is what led to their demise. Kids WB got smart in the latter half of the 90s and started importing Japanese anime also, which we will talk about the most popular one in a little bit, if and when Mark gets ready. Now, the more interesting thing about this is that as you watch these shows that we're talking about, with very few exceptions, most of these shows were aimed at the older kids and even adults. A lot of them had adult themes that had never been really explored by the big three, and the writing was on par with almost primetime television. They were bringing in big name stars for voice acting, so you had some real diversity in the voices that you were getting, and the animation quality, with very few exceptions, was really high notch. Is this stretched long enough for you, Mark?
No, keep going, buddy. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm getting there.
Okay. So what you had, though, is that, as you will see as we go through, the source material for these kids, these shows, was variety from comic books, novels, and even video games. And then some of them sparked video games and so on. It got very interesting from a business point of view watching these, how this worked. The 90s was a very popular. I've got a friend of mine who thinks this was the golden age. I'm sorry, Mike. It wasn't a golden age. It was more of what they would call a silver age, because the golden age was back in the 60s and 70s. They had a lull, and then they came back strong with the 90s, and then it went to crap after that. I'm sorry. I like the Cartoon Network, but they just haven't had the quality for a long time.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, buddy, because I was going to smack him too.
Excuse me? Oh,
Your
yeah.
buddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, he's an artist, and you should see his artwork that he does on plywood with from the Batman animated series stuff. He does some really good stuff, and I got to give him credit for that. He's very creative. But as it was, you know, there's some of these I want to talk about, but I want to bring them up the clips so we can, you know, get a proper introduction for these shows.
I agree. There's a lost file, just to kind of explain to you what's going on. And I'm doing a tracking down of them now. So
okay. So Rose or Rachel, do you have anything you want to talk about without talking about these specific shows about that time with those two networks?
Yeah, actually. I remember watching them both as a kid, not so much of Fox Kids, because I was born in 2000. So by the time I was 2, Fox Kids was basically dead. But I do remember watching like snippets from it when I was very, very little. But yeah. Kids WB was my childhood. So that's why I really wanted to be on here. One of the shows in particular that you're going to talk about, I might end up talking all of your ears off, because that show, I wonder if you see my shirt, you know which one it is.
Yes, I do.
That show was my childhood. Like, if I had to pick one show that defines my childhood, that show's it.
Yeah, yeah. And there's actually 2 shows that did that. One on Fox Kids and one on the Kids WB. And we're going to be talking about both those shows when Mark is ready. Terry, what I mean by the about the 80s, the lull in the 80s, is that most of the stuff people remember were not on the big 3 networks on Saturday mornings. They were often in syndication. Things like the Transformers and He-Man and G.I. Joe. Those were initially on syndication and not part of the big 3 for Saturday morning cartoons. So that's why I'm saying that there was a lull in the 80s. Because those great shows existed, but you were usually coming home from school to watch them instead of sitting down watching them on Saturday morning. I'm not saying there weren't great shows on Saturday mornings on the 80s, but the amount and the quality wasn't what was there from the 60s and the 70s. That, like Scooby and some of the stuff were groundbreaking. Some of the stuff that we were seeing in the 80s had to deal with things like He-Man. For all of its how much we loved He-Man and Transformers, they were basically there as a giant commercial to sell product. Okay. And so on. But the real innovation got really interesting with Fox Kids and WB because they had to fill time, and they knew that the 8-year-olds and the 7-year-olds were no longer going to just sit still anymore because of the change of the world. We hadn't gotten to the point where the streaming services existed, but we were starting to get YouTube and other channels showing up online, and kids were going there instead of watching TV. All right. Now, I've stretched this for a pretty long time, Mark.
I got you, buddy. I've never in my life moved this fast on computer work. I should be given a freaking Emmy. As I am plugging in my new 4 terabyte drive with all of your freaking videos on it, I'm sweating. So hold on.
Well, can you pull up Rose and Rachel for me then? So we can.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Do I still have you dominating the screen?
You have me dominating.
Well, yeah. If it wasn't, and while Rachel,
there we go.
My hands were busy. I'm sorry on that.
It's okay.
So there's a note from Terry here that said they in Ireland they had 2 channels that had cartoons on them, and even then it was all week rather than on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think European countries did have, not the common programming on a Saturday like we did over here. Fox WB, oh yeah.
Yeah, remember, and I don't know about in Ireland, but I know in the UK, some of their kids' programming was actually showing on prime time. So, I mean, if you think about it, back in the 60s, 3 p.m. to 5, through Monday through Saturday, so that's why you got things like Doctor Who to exist, because it was considered a kid's show. Okay, and you got all these other great animation shows that later came back out here in the States and then got Americanized. Terry got some, I'm sure Terry had some dynamite stuff, and we're going to have to talk to Terry about some of the stuff he watched versus what we had. Good morning, Odie. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Calm yourself down. We'll get there.
What did he say?
Oh, it was about the Power Rangers. We'll get to the Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing something unorthodox right now because my drive, it's just a tragedy of errors today.
So. At some point we really need to do like get some international guests on and do an international show, even if we have to record it like in the afternoon.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of people I could talk to, and I know Terry would be good to come on.
Like Mark's friend who was on last week, I found her stuff really fascinating, what she was saying.
Sachi from Japan?
Yeah. And who was that guy we talked with from Australia that was part of LOTR?
What? You lost me.
One of our shows that we did on The Mandalorian or something else, you had a guy from Australia who was also an extra on Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Since he was in Australia.
Shane.
Yeah, Shane.
Shane Rangi. Yes. I need to get back to you here, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to share this screen.
We can move to another show if you've got one, ready.
No, it's believe me, you need to see it to believe this. So,
did you lose your whole file, Mark?
I am laughing in the background like you wouldn't believe. I can't even get up this freaking printer. Foul.
So this is going to be the best show we've ever had, then.
Yeah, well, it's going to be just all our faces, Now, this is the importance of video for shows. And I try to explain that to people, how important it is that we have, that type of interaction. God damn it. What do you mean the file or directory is corrupt and unreadable?
I hate that. Oh, no. That's really bad.
All those clips.
That's okay. My backup is, and I'm trying to do this first, is I can access everything from YouTube. So,
yeah.
So
I'm trying to. Videos anyway. That's why I sent you the links.
Yeah, I'm trying
to. You guys still get copyrighted for stuff that's on YouTube.
What's that now?
I said, you guys still get copyrighted for stuff that's already on YouTube.
Yeah, we always love that. We always trying to figure out that one. It's like.
Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Oh, wait a minute. There it is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on. I got it. Oh, my God.
He's got his hands through the grate. It's almost in reach.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
His fingertips are just touching. He's dragging it back, just like in those horrible TV shows.
I'm getting there. Oh my God. I can share this if I could find it. Hold on, let me get out. And
should we be
for you?
There we go.
That's one of.
Wow! I totally forgot about Bobby's World.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and talk about Bobby's World if you haven't already?
Bobby's World was the first real hit of the shows. Okay, 1990 went for 7 seasons. Okay,
it
7
went for that long.
Yeah, I did not realize that.
Yeah, 7th. Well, I mean, you didn't watch it. It wasn't aimed at you guys. It's aimed at kids like my daughter. And 7 seasons says to me that's a hit. Okay,
Wow.
whether you liked it or not, it was a hit. And it followed the overactive imaginations of Bobby Generic. I love that name, which was created and voiced by the first couple of seasons by Howie Mandel. Okay, this was Howie's creation, and basically Howie produced the entire show throughout the whole thing. I'll be honest, I never watched the show. I heard about it. I saw the annoying kid with the annoying squeaky voice, and I went, "Yeah, change the channel." Okay,
That was an annoying voice. I agree with you 100%.
And what's funny is the endurance of this show was when Mandel was doing Deal or No Deal, they actually brought the character in on a couple of episodes because of how popular and because the guys that were the contestants were saying that Bobby's World was hugely influential to them when they were growing up. So you got to say, that tells you the strength of that show. Okay, now Rachel, did you ever watch that show?
No, I found it annoying. I never.
That's good.
Well, be honest, why don't you? And it really was annoying. I have to agree with her on that.
Yeah, I've never seen one episode of the show, but I remember now that you put it up, it like scratched something in the back of my head.
They used to play it at my school all the time.
Oh yeah,
and I used to cover my ears because it would get so bad sometimes.
Well, they played the song, they played the music at school.
Yes,
no, they played the show at school.
Oh, the show. Oh man, there was.
What was that when you were in preschool?
Yeah, when I was in preschool.
Oh yeah, well preschool, I could see them doing that.
Wait a minute, it was even annoying for you as a preschooler?
Yes, it was because the guy's his voice was just it did something to me back then.
It's fingernails down the black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me know when you want to play that while I'm troubleshooting.
Anytime you're ready. Anytime you're ready, go ahead and play that clip.
10-4, stand by. Do that. Where's there no sound? Can you hear this?
Yes, I can.
He's a cute kid.
Yeah.
Says who?
Me out too.
Fridge bro. So
all right, there you go. Oh, hey, stop that quick before we get into any more. So, I don't know about you, but when I was doing the research on this and I kept going through this video because I was looking to see if there's anything better than just this clip that we have, I kept having images of Calvin and Hobbes with this kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Spaceman Spiff and all the other stuff, But like I said, this was a hugely popular show. I don't understand why, but then I'm not 7 or 8 years old,
I'm putting up some of these responses on the screen because they're cracking me up. I can't do things at one time. You're distracting me.
Yeah, that's that was funny. It's actually you want to make sure test Howie for drugs, And
when I saw him on his 3-wheeler, I kind of thought like. All of a sudden, my head flashed to Danny from The Shining, and right as 3-wheeler, and you have Danny's world with the 2 twins.
That is a great analogy.
Danny.
That is a great analogy. Good job, Danny.
Wow, Rose, I see things showing up in your new book.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm on the dark side today.
Rachel, quick, write these things down for her later so that she can read them later on, But yeah, so that was Bobby's World. All right, so moving on, we've basically killed Bobby. Thank you. There's as you know, the biggest.
Hey, we're back in business.
All right, the biggest movies of all time right now are
Star Wars.
No.
That's true, though.
Rachel, what's the biggest movies out there right now?
Marvel.
Marvel, superheroes.
Yes.
Give Rachel a cigar. She won. Okay. So the question though is why? Why are they huge? What caused them to be huge the way they are? Well, some people could go to Blade with Wesley Snipes, which I personally think was a huge influence. I love that first movie. If you don't, then we're gonna have problems. But there was another show that came on for 5 seasons on Fox. And why don't you run that lovely clip there, Mark?
Oops, I didn't mean to show that yet, but
that's okay.
I said we're back in business. I didn't say needfully. Okay, I mean, for God's sakes, man.
Okay, so there you have the X-Men, and we all know the X-Men through the movies, through TV, whatever. This is the one that started the television superhero revolution. Okay, because of these, you would not had the stuff you're seeing on CW right now without this show. Now, this show spawned at least 2, if not 3, mutant spin-off cartoon series. X-Men Evolutions, Wolverine and the X-Men, and there was an attempt at one with Kitty Pryde and the X-Men. Okay. Over the times, this show phased out Jubilee. Okay. Jubilee was, well, the point of Jubilee was to bring in a character that they felt that the audience could identify with. So that's why they were aiming for the young teenage market. Yeah. And basically everybody thought she was annoying and had no real powers. And everybody was hoping that the mutants, the evil mutants would eat her, basically get rid of her, So what did we start focusing on? As the seasons went on, we started focusing on Gambit and Rogue. Wolverine was a lot in there, but it was mainly a lot of Gambit and Rogue because of the romance that they were developing on that. And I think that was totally by accident. They followed a lot of storylines from the comic books and followed them fairly faithfully. From the Dark Phoenix to Days of Future Past. Ignore the stupid movies. Go watch them on the X-Men. They did Cable. They did Long Shot. They did all the classics. And as a comic book guy, I got to tell you, it was nice to see that they were faithful. However, Terry, you are correct in a sense. Let me tell you a little story here. I had the opportunity to ask Mr. Stan Lee about the X-Men. And he said basically when they were created in the 1960s, it was his way to deal with civil rights. You had Professor Xavier as Martin Luther King, and you had Magneto as Malcolm X. And that's how he designed them specifically, that he wanted peace over radical violence. Okay, and that was his perspective. Was it the right one? That's a debate for another day. Okay, but that's how it started. Then the comic started dying, and in the 1970s, Chris Claremont came along and revitalized it and got it to where it is today. We can thank the late Len Wein for Wolverine, and the X-Men is currently running on Disney Plus. If you haven't had a chance to go back and rewatch it, do so. It is worth your time. Anybody want to add anything?
No, I'm cool.
I would just like to add that this was me and my dad's show.
Yep.
My dad loved the X-Men so much. Mom, you got this. His dad's favorite character. You probably
Emma
even know.
Frost is his favorite character.
Well, of course.
From the show.
Well, I don't know, because I just know Emma Frost is his favorite character.
I was trying to make a point that even she would know, but I guess she's failed me. So his favorite is Rogue. And my favorite by osmosis, I think, because my dad just loves her so much, is Rogue. But over time, I also really learned to love the rest of the cast, especially Gambit. Embarrassing little story. In middle school, Gambit was one of my my middle school crushes back in the day. So
Okay, so Rachel, I want you to go and find from the 1970s and early 80s in the comics the Hellfire Club. Okay?
yes, I know.
And how Emma dressed in the Hellfire Club.
I've read some of the. I know how I'm dressed in the Hellfire Club.
Can't hear you, Mark. Can't hear you, Mark. Okay.
It's probably good you can't, but I was just saying how she dressed. I didn't notice at all, Jerome. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I was focusing more on the storyline.
You were.
And the drawings. By the way, Rachel, Gambit, it's a drawing. It's art.
I know.
He's
I'm
not real.
12
He's
anymore.
not real. Okay.
Right,
Just
we can say the same
calm
thing
down.
about Velma, Mark.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Moving along.
So anyway, my favorite was out of the show was Beast.
Cyclops. Cyclops for me, I think. I really love Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
And I got to say something about Cyclops versus Wolverine in the comics and in the movies and everything else. Everybody loves Wolverine because he's a bad boy. And my feeling is it takes strong writing to make somebody like Cyclops into a compelling character because he's so good.
Yeah.
They've basically turned him into a jerk in the comics and into a villain a couple of times.
Well,
I think with lazy writing.
Yeah, what disturbed me a little bit about Wolverine was the fact I think he was the only one, of course, that we've seen in the entire freaking group that killed people.
Yeah.
He literally killed people. So everybody else, let me eliminate this bridge underneath your footing, and things of that nature.
Okay, so go ahead and run the next clip when you're ready.
Yeah, now I got everything running perfectly now. Here we go.
Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego?
Have to come back. Be right back, guys.
All right, Jerome will return. I think, and help me on this, Rachel. Where in the world is Carmen Miranda? Didn't this start on a PBS show? Was it Electric Company or?
No, they had their own show. They had a game show called "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?" It was about teaching kids geography.
Okay, and what
I used to watch
station
it.
do we?
I liked it.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was in the early '90s, I think, and then
Okay.
I think it was a video game first.
Is a video game, then a game show, then a cartoon.
Got it. All right. So Jerome, we're on Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, the show that taught kids geography and other cultures. Surprisingly, started on Fox Kids for 4 seasons and then went to PBS, and then spun off at least 2 sequels. Okay. And has a pretty good show on Netflix right now.
Is it still on? Because I haven't gotten to see any of it.
They're on their 2nd season.
It's very, very good.
Is this live action or animated?
No, it's animated, but it's really good animation.
One of the best
storytelling.
reboots in years.
Yeah, Rachel's right. It's one of the really good ones. Yes, Willow, you showed up right on time. If you look at Carmen Sandiego, the show, actually watch the show, and you look at it and you're going, there's no way on earth that this show's going to work. Okay, on a Saturday morning cartoon show. But it was a hit. Okay, the show actually worked really well. And it was based off of four different video games. And And what else is there to say? But young adults nowadays that are in their 20s and 30s, they know geography now because of this show. And what more can you say as a legacy than that?
What's the capital of North Dakota?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to sing the. I'd have to sing the.
I think it's Bismarck, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know. I just asked.
I'd have to sing the Animaniacs song.
Yeah, the Animaniacs song. Okay.
So, but yeah. Did I miss anything? Do you guys want to say anything about Carmen?
I didn't watch this show.
Yeah.
I know of it. I did it in passing. I think it was a little bit more educational than what I wanted. And the fact that I was actually older in life when this came out, it wasn't really much interest in me for it. So my apologies. Dina said her kids love this cartoon. And I don't even remember the game show. So there was a lot about this show that I did not associate much with. Not saying in a negative way, but okay.
Yeah. What was interesting was when it switched over to the PBS, they changed the format. Now, what's interesting was when it was on Fox, the owners of it, the video game company, had to have final say on everything on Carmen Sandiego on Fox because Fox was known for violence.
Yes.
They didn't want that to show up on their show at all. Mm-hmm. And they didn't reject anything from what I've read, but Fox was very unhappy with the requirements on it because it slowed the production of the show down. Now, when it went to PBS, though, that requirement was no longer there because PBS was known for educating, doing educational shows for kids. So they felt safe with that. But Carmen, I gotta say, it's like it's either where's Carmen Sandiego or where's Waldo. I mean, from the kids, and these were hugely popular. So there's nothing more I can say about that. So on that note, let's move on to the big franchise creating show that started in 1993. Would you please roll that clip for our audience?
Man, I don't know if I want to.
Yes, you do. Because you just want to hurt them all.
My God, man, I'd rather hear Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
After 10,000 years, I'm free.
Rita!
Time to conquer Earth.
Alpha, Rita's escape. Recruit a team of teenagers with attitudes.
Go, Power Rangers! Mighty Morphin Power Rangers! Go, Power Rangers! Go, Power Rangers! Go, Power Rangers! You mighty Morphin Power Rangers!
I think we have had every freaking Power Ranger in existence at DragonCon.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's interesting is the Red Ranger was considered the number one of this show, was considered the number one Ranger of all time throughout all the shows. Okay, just so you know that. That's for Ryan to know.
That Pink Ranger ain't got no hips.
Yeah, the Pink Ranger, I think she passed away.
Oh, never mind. I take it back.
No, it's okay. A number of them have passed due to a number of issues. Because remember, this started in 93.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, huge complaints about this show from parents groups.
What happened?
Okay. Well, because of the violence.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at it, and now we, parents around here in the States, remember, the parents around here are very puritanical. Remember, the part where they're actually in the costumes or with the robots are direct Japanese feeds. Okay, they didn't Americanize them until later in the years. As a matter of fact, there's a new Power Ranger show coming out that's going to be all American, so they can take off the helmets, put them on, and the people in doing the costumes is the Yellow Ranger. I'm sorry, you are right, Willow. It was her, not the one in the pink. My apologies.
I throw my hips comments back out there then.
But so there were complaints about that from parents. There was huge problems on set too. These guys weren't getting paid anything. Okay. As a matter of fact, the guy who was in the red one was the first one to leave, and he complained that he could work at Starbucks and get paid more. Okay. There was one of them came out, and there was real problems with that on the set. There was some accidents on the set also I've read about. Like I said, there were real problems behind the sets, but nobody saw this. Okay. What did kids remember? Sales of those dang toys.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Tara saying wanted lots of Power Rangers toys. Tara, do you remember the Green Ranger's sword and how much people wanted that one? That was a huge thing, because I remember a friend of mine, he said basically he got the last one in the store and got threatened with violence by a couple of parents.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think these toys probably started the maniacal Black Fridays. You know, I think this is probably the beginning when you literally saw violence amongst store purchasers.
Cabbage Patch Kids, Mark.
Oh, Cabbage Patch
Kids. I gotta give that Rose on that one. Yeah, Rose gets points on that one.
Rose. Okay, Cabbage Patch. You're right.
Dina says that the boys had a crush on the Pink Ranger.
The Pink Ranger? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's Tommy, because I didn't watch the show. Okay.
Yeah,
I think Tommy was.
I thought it was terribly cheesy.
It was terrible cheesy. There's no denying that.
What, the show?
Yes.
You think?
That's the part of it, Mom.
Yeah, that's the joy of it. I mean, come on. Us adults loved the Adam West Batman. It was cheesy as hell.
Yeah.
Here we have the Power Rangers, the same situation.
I mean, even though everybody was speaking English in that show, all I still saw was, oh my God, we must run because they are coming after us. Wait,
yeah,
you know. Like,
I thought the cheesy robot models were just, didn't even attempt to look like anything other than a model.
But for a young boy, they were. I mean, the next best thing to Transformers. Okay,
it was real life Transformers, real life Robotech. It was all that stuff, real life. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, as from an adult perspective, I just cringe looking at it. As a kid, I'm sure these kids were enraptured with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, let's see here. Tommy was the Green Ranger, then the White Ranger. I do remember reading and seeing that, Dina.
Tommy did a lot of conventions too. Tommy was kind of big on con.
He was a favorite.
He's still doing them, and that was a big thing too about him.
Well, we won't talk about that on this show. I have my own story. So we will not.
But again, so what happened? Now we spawned off tons and tons of Power Rangers. We got the Dino Rangers was the one I remember. They did a movie. There was a movie that just came out recently, which actually wasn't all that bad. It didn't do well in the box office because I think people were tired of Power Rangers. But on a whole, it was actually a pretty good character-driven movie. They had a previous Power Ranger movie, I think, in like around 99, 2000. Am I right on that? Yeah, less said about that, the better.
I wasn't keeping count. I'm an adult.
They had the Time Rangers, I think is what they had. Oh my God. And here's the thing. They killed off some of the Rangers.
Yes.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. And some of the Rangers were the ones who killed off other Rangers.
I did enjoy the most current motion picture. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I did actually go to the theater to see that, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's Sage?
Okay, I'm sorry, Sage. Read It to Me was the scariest of them all. Okay.
In the motion picture. Okay, but in the
series, she was actually kind of creepy.
I'm sorry. I laughed every time she was on screen, and her henchmen.
Excuse me, but Lord Zed terrified me as a child.
No.
And I think that's why they had to silify him later by giving him the love potion with Rita. But early on, that guy was terrifying. Terrifying.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sorry that terrified you. How old were you, Rachel, when you first introduced the Power Rangers?
This is another one that they played at my school a lot. I think I was
Hold on. Stop. Did you guys learn anything? Because I'm hearing that you watch a lot of freaking television at school.
No, I don't even remember learning anything there.
At preschool. This is preschool, Mark.
And this is preschool. Kindergarten.
She learned not to eat the Play-Doh. She learned to share, and she learned to watch TV.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I learned.
All right. Well, now I know what was going on in the 90s with our kids. This really explains a lot. Okay. So,
All right. Now the next one is one of my favorites because I had a chance. It started off as a comic book, and I got a chance to meet the creator a number of years ago before it was a TV show, when it was a limited comic book here up here in New England. This is where it started, and this to me, it's one of the greats for adults. So why don't you run the next clip?
yes,
show you-
'cause I got a personal attachment with this show too. So, here we go.
This is a long one. It's a long clip.
How long you want me to go?
Just go through the whole thing.
20 minutes.
No, it's not 20 minutes.
That's what I got. 20 minutes.
All right, I'll tell you. Stop at 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Arthur, what's the Tick really like?
The Tick? He's great. He's a little hard to work with sometimes, but he's stronger than anybody.
Listen, ours is an epic tale. True friendship, heart-stopping danger, men and women in tights, making the rules and breaking them. We are not 2 men, we are 10 men. Listen, it all started in Reno. Every year, heroes flock to the National Super Institute to compete for the best cities to protect from crime.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Blowfish Avenger. Blowfish gets New Rochelle. Way to go, Blow.
One year, I decided to compete. Hello, Reno! I am the Tick! I am mighty! Now you may ask, but how does one prove one's mightiness? To this I reply, by surviving the deadliest engine of destruction 1974 had to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, you may want to shield yourselves with your dessert menus. I might be dangerous. Well, this is disappointing. Whoa. And the rest is history. Okay, you can stop it after this. Right here.
I love this show.
This is great.
This was the dumbest piece of crap I've ever seen, but it was a so well done piece of crap that I just absolutely loved. It was the first pompous superhero I think I've ever seen.
The funny thing about the Tick is it started off as a parody of Daredevil's the Death of Elektra series. And it even goes even further back than that to the Massachusetts College of Art, because it was in their paper. I have a friend of mine who knows the creator, Ben Egland, who later went on to become a Hollywood producer of numerous shows. But the funny thing about this, the cartoon, was this had so many commentaries that only adults would get, especially adults with cartoons and comics. Deflator Mouse. Okay.
Deflator Mouse, yes, yeah.
Deflator Mouse. A low-rent Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. You had American Made. Okay.
Yes.
Which was supposed to be Wonder Woman. And they made lots of jokes about the relationship between Deflator Mouse and American Made having been living together for a while. But you had to catch that. They had the guy who lives in the sewers, like with a
yeah. I can't call them all out.
But and then some of the stuff they pulled. They had Squirrel Girl, not the one that we know today from Marvel,
right?
But this other one. They had Sarcastro. His power was biting sarcasm, and they maintained continuity. When somebody did something to the moon in one of the episodes, it stayed in the background throughout the entire series. And this show ran for 3 seasons. Okay. Just the stuff that sewer urchin. Thank you, Willow. Willow knows her tick.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, the jokes that they were making at the comic book industries themselves was just hysterical. Now, it spawned 2 shows. There was a live action on Fox television, which suffered from a lot of problems with
perfect casting on that first live action show, because we know who played the tick.
Tell us. I can't pronounce his name.
What's his name from Seinfeld? The big brain fart boy.
He's in
I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of his name.
All right, we'll find it later.
Slow talking, kind of dim-witted. Yeah. It was perfect casting. Yeah.
And that one suffered for the fact that Fox kept pushing back when it was going to be on. They kept fiddling with it. They kept changing the nights that it was on. From even the first season, it would move all over the place. You could never find it. And so that's why that suffered. And then Amazon did 2 seasons of it, which I felt had potential, but it was really weak on some of it. There was some real weak writing on it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But this, if you want the tick, other than the comic books, this is the one to see.
The tick should have been on around the Archer time zone. After 9 p.m. This should have been all adult. Period.
There was just so many jokes in there that they. Yeah. I don't know how they got past the censors.
All right.
Rachel, have you ever seen the tick?
Yes, I have. This is interesting for me. I saw this as a kid. I hated it because I was stupid. And I watched it later.
I love this girl.
I
love her.
I watched it later as I think I was in early high school, and I got it. It just clicked with me. I knew what they were doing, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever." This I'm gonna make I don't know if this is a bold claim. I think this might be my favorite superhero parody show. Really? It is so good. It is just so good.
I've never seen one episode.
Yeah, I know, and I gotta get you into it. It's just so good.
Oh, it is.
Now, the problem is when it was released, the first episode got edited really badly. Okay, so if you can find the first episode online with the guys with the blimp and all that, because that got edited like you wouldn't believe. Okay,
yep.
But the rest of them were fine. On the DVD release, and oh my God, and Willow, thank you once again for correcting us. It's Patrick
Warburton.
Warburton, yeah. But this show, this was scheduled watching. I stopped what I'm doing. I wouldn't do things until I saw the tick. With my friends, there was an episode where they made a monster that was all tongue. He was tongue, and he could taste the floor. It just so got crazy. Spoon, that was a reference to the Avengers Assemble and other things.
Yeah, but do you know, like an idiot, I was actually going around in real life saying this damn word. I was talking to clients on the phone, and they say something really stupid. I go, spoon, and huh? What? That's how that stuck with me.
Yeah, and it got funny. They even made a parody of the moral story too in one of the episodes with the giant guy, and they made a giant aspirin. That's a big aspirin. Don't mess with this, kids, only adults. They got parodying on that.
Yes, it is a great parody show. She's absolutely right on that, and it's something I still watch. Not much of a fan of the live action shows. Much.
I watched both live actions, and I couldn't get through to the second season. Of the next,
I'm more nostalgic. When you show me something new, don't try to improve on it. Leave it alone because I like it the way it was.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. This one had a ton of fun. Okay, so if nobody has anything else they want to add, just run right into the next clip. We're not even going to talk about it.
We're not even going to talk about this because we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Make sure you make it big too, please.
It probably is.
There you go. Thank you.
of the Stars. Dateline Hollywood 1930, the Warner Brothers studio. Here at the studio's new animation department, the artist toiled endlessly to come up with cartoon stars, ultimately creating 3 new characters, the Warner Brothers and their sister Dot.
Hello, nurse.
Unfortunately, the Warner kids were totally out of control.
Boingy, 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 boingy.
The trio ran amok throughout the studio until their capture. The Warner's films, which made absolutely no sense, were locked away in the studio vault, never to be released. As for the Warners themselves, they were locked away in the studio water tower, also never to be released. Publicly, the studio has disavowed any knowledge of the Warners' existence to this very day, when the Warners escaped.
It's time for Animaniacs, and we're zany to the max. So just sit back and relax, you'll laugh in the laughs. We're Animaniacs. Come join the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister Dot. Just for fun we run around the Warner movie lot. They lock us in the tower whenever we get caught. But we break loose and bend the rules, and now you know the plot. We're Animaniacs. Dot is cute and Yakko yaks. Wacko cracks away the snacks while the plankton plays the sax. We're Animaniacs. Be Pinky and the brain who wants to rule the universe. With letters blocked together, slapping wax them with her purse. Buttons chases Mindy while Rita sings a verse. The writer's script, we have no script, why bother to rehearse? We're Animaniacs. We have pay or play contracts. We're zany to the max, there's baloney in our slacks. We're Animaniacs, totally insane. Here's a show's name. Animaniacs, those are the facts.
I love that.
What a great show.
I know it's your Jerome, I know it's your show, but I've got to say this.
Go ahead.
This is a prime example of the return of anyone who was associated with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig. They hit this right on the head when they wanted to bring back all the classic cartoons back, and they did it in a modern setting. And I just adored this show. Go ahead, Jerome.
Okay. What? No, I'm good, thank you. Little Gwendolyn came in to ask if she wanted.
Oh, that's okay.
All right. So this was actually considered, you ready for this? Considered a spin-off of the Tiny Toons Adventures.
Yes.
Which I can't see it. I'm sorry. I can't see it as a spin-off.
Oh, I didn't get into Tiny Toons. I don't agree with that, but
now,
go ahead.
When Animaniacs came out, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I didn't care for it. And it took me some time over the years to basically to warm up to it. And now I'm a huge fan. Okay. It grows on you. Yes, Willow, we will all be singing that song all day. If you want, Willow, we'll put on the American capital song or the world song, and you'll be singing that all day too. I guarantee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, I did a ton of research on this because I was on another show talking about the Animaniacs for them. It was Lights Action and Lights Thunder Action, I think is the show. One of you guys over there is going to have to help me.
All right, concentrate on this one, buddy.
Yes, I know that.
All right.
Anyway, so this was considered a variety show. Okay. They did lots of songs. They received lots of letters over the years thanking them for the capital song, which got a lot of kids through geography because they were able to sing the capitals of the United States do that song. We've shown it. We've shown that video on the show on earlier ones. Now it had one spinoff. Anybody want to guess?
Yes. Can I?
Yes.
I actually have something to say. I have something that might get me banned from this show ever again.
Let me put you on the big screen.
I think I have to preface this by saying Animaniacs is fantastic. I love it with all my heart. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. That being said, I like Pinky and the Brain better.
No, that's fine. You're not going to get banned for that because you kept it in the same family. You kept it in the same family, so you're good.
Pinky and the Brain was the spinoff, got their own show. Now, for those who don't follow Mark on Facebook, about 6 months ago, Mark showed I think it's called Underground Jazz, where they did the theme music to Pinky and the Brain, late night jazz music.
I forgot about that.
And as Mark and I have both said, neither of us have seen the word "narf" done more sexily. Okay, when he does Narf, you're just like going, okay, just throw the ice on me. Okay. Now the funny part of that song also is they got the voices of Pinky and the Brain in the background to do stuff, and it continues to kill me. We could do a whole show on Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain,
and we should. And we should. Yeah,
right.
Should.
Now there's Hulu has now got 13 episodes showing. I think they just started them. I don't know if anyone has seen them yet.
I've gotten mixed reviews on that. I can't see it because I can't see it because I refuse to purchase Hulu. Period.
I've seen it,
but I've gotten
and I love it. But I can see why people might not like it. It's very I wouldn't say very. It's political, but Animaniacs has always been political, so I don't see what the problem is in that regard. But I guess it's very funny. It's very true to the original. They got the original voice actors, which is amazing. They all do a great job. I find it hilarious, but I can see why people would feel mixed about it.
Okay. Now there's
I have to give it a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Now there's a show on YouTube called FBE, where they basically bring these kids in and they show them things or make them listen to music for the first time and get kids who are, like say Gwen's age 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever age.
I love that kind of stuff.
Right. And you'll love it. I post every so often. Mark, you should see the one where they do with the music of Queen. It will drive you. You'll laugh your ass.
Okay, I gotta find
that.
I gotta
All
find
right.
that.
They did Animaniacs for kids who had never seen Animaniacs. So these were kids that were born in about 2010, about 2000. Okay. So they'd never seen it. Their reactions was great. Then a few years later, they got 2 of the voice actors to watch these kids. And that's hysterical because you're getting it from the actors' points of view, and you pick up little things about the show. Like the song that they did with the Nations of the World, that was the first song they did, and it was done in one take.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. The guy who wrote it was originally writing for Batman the Animated Show, and he goes, couldn't really figure a way to put that into the Batman show. And the show, there's just tons of things to talk about this show. You're right, Rachel, about the politics. Man, they slammed the Clintons like you wouldn't believe. It was hysterical. My understanding is the Clintons saw a couple of them and actually thought it was funny. Okay, so they could take a joke. The voice actors, this show got these voice actors to become the next tier of voice actors, because we talk about voice actors a lot on this show. And I mean, like I said, we could just do an entire show on this show alone. And maybe we should, Mark.
Do what? I'm sorry. I lost
do an entire show on the Animaniacs.
Oh yeah, we will. We'll put that on the schedule. We will.
All right. So I don't know what else to say without actually, gushing more than I already am. You know?
Animaniacs is just brilliant, and that's about as far as you can go with it. So,
I watched it when it was on. I love the pulp culture, and now, I don't know if a lot of people would get it, but back then it was hilarious.
Well, it was topical.
Have you ever seen Rob Paulson when he on a YouTube? I think it was at a convention too, where he actually did sing all the Worlds of the Country song.
I would love for us to be able to do an interview with him on the show.
Yeah, I'll see if I can set that up. We've worked with him a couple times already.
Excellent. That'd be cool. I'm on his Twitter page, and the guy is hysterical.
Yeah, the Pinky and the Brain guys too. So we'll I'll see what I can do.
Okay,
I'll see if I can grab Rob for you guys.
Next clip. This one's for Mark.
It's really interesting that you chose this, but I forgot completely it was on the WB. Or it was on.
Yeah, no, it was WB.
Yeah,
it's WB.
It's my favorite. What can I tell you? Oops.
Yeah, go ahead and run that. That's beautiful. Exactly.
What can I say? It's Earthworm Jim, for God's sakes.
All right, so it's called Classic, based on video games of the same name. A worm gets dropped into a super suit on him and becomes a hero, and insanity ensures. Pretty much the whole storyline.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Thank God a cockroach didn't fall into that. I mean, I love Earthworm Jim. We have a segment that we do at Dragon Con where we do all TV theme songs. We throw it up on a big screen. We have 1,000 people in the room, and hearing 1,000 people singing TV theme songs of various cartoons and live action is ridiculous. And Earthworm Jim is one of those songs that just makes people go, yeah, watch out. You know, I love it.
I'll be honest, I never watched it. Okay.
That's okay.
I did not either. I didn't either.
Neither of you are perfect like me, so that's fine.
Now, my understanding though is that it's sort of a parody of like the Flash Gordon type shows also. You know, you got the princess, Dale, etc. You know, he's fighting evil, etc. But that's as far as I know about it. I know that people like Mark that do love it passionately.
Yes, we do. Don't F with my worm.
So many ways to go with that comment.
Sweetly. Hey, you're getting into some good territory now, so I'm applauding you right now for your report.
Okay. So, Mark, is there anything else you want to talk about on Earthworm Jim?
No, it's one of those where we're at the infinity part right now. You can't go any further than this, you know.
Rachel, did you watch this?
Oh, Earthworm Jim? Okay, I've talked about this a little before. Last time I was on the show. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. But
I love you. Wait a minute. Did you say but?
There is no but.
Did you say but?
Show. It's amazing. That there's no but. It's infinity. It's amazing.
Okay.
The but comes from a fun fact about the creator, which I learned recently.
Oh.
Apparently, he's working on VeggieTales now, and I'm like, how do you go from Earthworm Jim to VeggieTales?
What the hell is VeggieTales? What's that?
Rachel, there's a simple reason. Okay, it's called a mortgage payment. Okay.
That's the same thing my mom tells me every time. I'm like, why is this actor I like doing this horrible thing? And she's like, I have mortgage. They want a new car.
Yeah. So
same thing.
VeggieTales is a Christian. I think it's Christian stories, movies, whatever, where the characters are vegetables or humanized vegetables.
A worm is part of God's creation too. You freaking atheist. You know.
Okay. Run the next clip.
Oh, you wanted the next clip? Oh, fine.
Please.
Fine. Like I said, you are finally into excellent territory with this next clip as I pull it up for you. I peed in my pants when this debuted, so
didn't we all?
Yes. And stand by. Let's go large screen on that. I'm clicking and clicking and clicking all over the place.
Superman. That's exactly what it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah. I am so critical of good writing. Okay. I mean, don't show me something that I can predict or is just so freaking cliche. But when you do original content, you do original writing, you shock me out of my shoes. Man, I stand up and applaud. Simple as that. I'm very anal about that kind of stuff.
I hate to tell you, it wasn't as original as you think, because a lot of the stories in this were takeoffs from the comics.
Oh,
they got their stories from the comics.
I don't read Superman comics, but okay, I got you.
All right, so let me do this little preface on this. All right, this is considered by many to be the best Superman series of all time.
Yes,
from live action to whatever. It was faithful to the comics, and it introduced an entire generation to the Man of Steel. They did something back in the 80s, but it was only 13 episodes and disappeared real fast. This is a spin-off of the Batman the Animated Series. Okay. Top level actors doing the voiceovers. Dana Delaney as Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dana Delaney. Oh my God.
And it stayed in the same universe as with Batman and with Justice League. You kept it all in the same universe, same voice actors across the shows, whatever. They were really good. Justice League started on Cartoon Network and then went into WB as reruns. First run was on Cartoon Network. That's why it's not on this show. Okay, about these shows here. You had my favorite was Darkseid. Okay, and the guy who played Darkseid was Michael Ironside, one of my favorite actors. Granny Goodness of the New Gods, Ed Asner played Granny Goodness.
Yes.
Okay, and he just had these incredibly well-written stories with adult themes, some serious adult themes. And we've talked about this show about how at the last episode they killed off a main character.
You remember I did a show on that. I did. One of my dramatic moments show on that. Made me cry.
Now,
made me cry.
In 1986, DC Comics did their first of their things called Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they destroyed universes and merged them to one. And then John Byrne came out with the new series called The Man of Steel, a 6-issue thing, where he redefined most of the mythology of Superman. And the biggest change he did was he made Lex Luthor from a mad scientist to a corporate CEO. And many people to this day say that was the best change that was been made of the superheroes, because now Luthor is even more scary.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
It's scary because they kind of instead of being like,
hold on, Rachel.
Rachel, hang on a second.
Rachel, hold on. You guys froze up completely. Can you start over for us?
Yeah, start over, please.
Ooh.
What's going on over there?
I don't know.
Are we down?
Yeah, it's your internet connection over there. So you're not down. You're just frozen. I think we can still hear you.
Okay. Well, if you can still, I guess I can go. I don't know what's going on. I wanted to say about the Lex Luthor thing is
Rachel, Rose, get out and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah. So, we were joking about the opening theme music. There's a part where you go, Superman. That was actually intended. They didn't want the vocals. They wanted everybody in the audience to be doing that. That was one of the behind-the-scenes interviews I saw. But you got to look at the artistry. Okay, if you look at Batman and you look at Superman, they're diametrically opposed. You can tell that by how their capes flap. When Superman's capes fly, he flies behind him if he's standing still, right? Batman's his wraps around and flows forward.
Comes right to you.
Yeah. And that's intentional. You ask the artists at DC, and they will tell you that was intentional, so it gives a different vibe. Batman, the cityscapes was dark, gray, dirty. Superman, Metropolis,
futuristic,
clean, futuristic, exactly. People want to live in Metropolis. They don't want to live in Gotham, you know? And Superman, they played with the New Gods. They did all sorts of things. And they're back.
We're back.
Can we hear Rachel? Yeah. Okay, so, Rachel, go ahead and finish with your thought.
Okay, what I wanted to say about the Lex Luthor decision is it really was a great decision, because I'm pretty sure this is sort of like almost like a Harley Quinn retcon where they just basically said, oh yeah, that's really good, and carried it on basically throughout Lex Luthor's adaptations. And the reason why I think that is because when you just have this evil scientist, it's just, you can't relate to that. Nobody can be like, oh, this is fiction. This is completely fake. But when you have him be like this evil corporate businessman, that's more grounded in reality, and it makes him a lot scarier, in my opinion.
Well, and that's a very good point, Rachel.
Good job.
If you look at Lex Luthor when he was created back in the 1950s, he was basically created as an evil Albert Einstein. Okay, because Einstein was beloved and everything else. And when the 80s came along, we were in the middle of ugly corporate takeovers. And I mean really bad, ugly ones. And so the idea was people were realizing that CEOs were not the great, powerful, wonderful people that they've always pretended to be, and that they had some really nefarious ideas. And this has just been expanded upon and shown in real life so much. And you've hit the nail right on the head. You know? So does anybody else want to mention anything?
Other than I thought it was just a fantastic, well-written, clean series that brought about, believe it or not, for don't want to be cliche about it, but brought about hope in terms of what people act like, what they display. Even on TV, a lot of people are acting like images that they see, people that they see on TV. A lot of people are attracting themselves or associating themselves with images and actors and shows that they see on TV. Some is good, some is bad, some is a little fanatical, and it really rubs me the wrong way when people just get really fanatical about stuff.
And I agree with you, and I think that's where the live action, the DCU, is getting it wrong. Is that the DC heroes, especially Superman, are hope. They're the positive. They're the lights that we want to be. And when they made these movies, Man of Steel, Batman, Superman, Justice League, what did we see? We saw the wrong lesson that just because the Batman trilogy was successful, you don't have to be dark in the other DC comics. And that's what they were doing. And they forgot which movies were hugely successful? Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam. Positive heroes that were not dark and negative. What were not the most successful. Financially, they've all been successful. But people to this day don't like Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and Justice League. Okay? And there's huge debates in the fan community about this. Superman the animated said it all. You're right, Mark. This was a hopeful hero.
Yep. Love my Superman.
Quality show. And my son, was he's younger than her, and he really loves that series, that whole family DC universe. Yeah.
And these are all available on DVD. I have them. So
yeah.
And my daughter loves Justice League.
Yeah, that's great. That's nice to hear. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking 1970s Super Friends, or are we talking Young Justice, or are we talking about Justice League International, the first Justice League?
Wait, for what? The shows?
No, what Gwen likes. You said she likes
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Got it. Yep, I love those two.
The sequels to Superman and the Batman the Animated Series.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, the animated DCU. All right, so let's run the next clip. It's going to be in the same universe.
Yes,
and I'll be right back while you're running this.
All right. Awesome sauce.
Yeah. Did we lose Rose and Rachel?
Yeah, it looked like we lost Rose and Rachel. If you guys can hear us, just pop on out, come back in.
Okay. So I have to say this was a great show. Yeah, Willow, I was too. This show was Batman in the future. They shows what happens, how Batman has a heart attack. On the very first episode, shows how Terry becomes Batman. And if you look carefully, you can see how this Gotham is a mixture of Gotham and Metropolis in the future. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't either, but that's okay.
So what do we see here? We see the continuation of a couple of characters. We see later on, we'll see Batman. I mean, not Batman. We'll see Superman. We'll see the kid of Hawkman, and you see new things of the Justice League. You see some of the villains come back, and Terry is absolutely right. The series ends with the movie the Return of the Joker, where to me Mark Hamill does a tour de force as the Joker. Okay, I can't say enough good things about Mark Hamill's Joker. By the way, I think he redefined the Joker.
Yeah, I got into this late. I remember when it debuted, and I didn't take to it immediately. And for all the wrong reasons that I did not like this show. We're being pushed into the future to a futurized Batman, which wasn't the Batman that we all grew up and knew, and I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
I didn't care. I don't want to see something about the futuristic Batman and wasn't even the same guy, wasn't even Bruce Wayne. But later on, I think I really started to concentrate on it, and actually at the same level you are in terms of loving it. I thought it was excellent. I was just late for the party.
What was really one of my favorite episodes was the Ra's al Ghul episode with Talia, okay, and where they put Bruce into the Lazarus pit, and Terry for the very first time gets to see Bruce when he was sort of at his peak, and he goes, "Well, I'm not really at my peak," and he's still moving around better than Terry is, and he's kind of going, damn, this is what I got to live up to. And you just,
you young punk.
Exactly. He's like, oh, wow. Maybe he wasn't just talking out his keister,
Yeah, right.
And that was a really thing. And what was interesting is you got to see real character growth with a lot of these characters.
Right.
You got to see what happened to Barbara Gordon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's tragic, but it's like, she's still sexy sitting down.
Well, she suffered the same problem we all suffer from, getting old.
You're getting old, exactly.
But again, you saw the character growth. Hell, you even saw character growth in some of the villains. That some of the villains kind of went, why the hell am I doing this or whatever,
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath on that one, Dennis.
Exactly. I feel the same way. It's too soon. Dennis, is too early.
There's some problems.
Rumors change. I'm a believe it when I see it kind of guy. So I'm not looking forward to anything.
Yeah. But this was a really powerful one, and I really wish Rachel and Rose were online to see this.
They have lost the internet, they said. So I just got a message from them.
These next ones are really definitely for Rachel to talk about.
Well, wait a minute. Hopefully, because I'm telling her right now, use your phone.
Yes.
So let's let me type this. Okay, got it.
Man, they always have so much problems with their internet.
Yeah,
we need to go down there and hardwire them in.
Yeah, it's just a horrible area. But Batman Beyond, I would love to get the whole box set and actually watch it from beginning to end.
Now,
I just have to go ahead and order it. Say again?
It had a spinoff called the Zeta Project.
Oh, educate me, please. Educate me.
In one of the episodes, there was a robot who was a soldier, basically. He programmed to kill and was going to be an assassin and could disguise himself, whatever. And basically, like most stories, he became more than his programming and decided, I ain't doing it. I ain't killing anybody. And basically, he disarmed himself completely in front of Batman Beyond, and off he went. And it was an entire season of him with another kid trying to find their creator. So he can, make some changes to him. But it was actually a pretty good show.
Excellent.
Guys, you're back.
Yes, and I'm really disappointed because I completely missed the Batman Beyond discussion.
No,
we're still on it. We're still on it.
Okay, I don't know if you guys already discussed this, but this show, I don't know. People think people are mixed on it for some reason, but I kind of really like it. From the fact that they could have just gone the route of, we're just going to do what we did in Batman the Animated Series, just like with this different character, but they decided to do something new with it, which I think in and of itself, like it or hate it, that's like really commendable that they didn't just go the lazy route, that they decided they wanted to actually make a different character than Bruce Wayne. And like not just Bruce Wayne copy pasted. They made a different character. They gave him different motivations, different morality in a sense. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Bruce took on a protege, basically a Padawan,
more so than he did with his Robins.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not too crazy about the Joker ripoffs. I mean, they made a whole freaking gang.
Well, it makes sense, to be honest. It kind of makes sense.
Well, he had leaders, especially the most recent Joker movie towards the end when he's standing on top of the cop car and he's rounding up all of these guys who are worshiping him. And I'm talking about the live action movie we just saw with what's his face. But I do get it that at some point maybe they all become a gang. And
in what is it? In Return of the Joker, they show how Batman killed the Joker.
Yeah, you know what? Is that on Netflix right now?
No, you're gonna have to find it somewhere else.
Okay.
It's called
Try to find the uncensored version because the uncensored version is very
dark.
It's not graphic, but it's better. It has a better depth for the Joker.
Are you old enough, young lady? You mentioned the uncensored version. What the hell are you talking about? Wait, let me see your driver's license. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, she's right though. There was an R and then there was a PG-13, and it was released in theaters, which I never saw it. I actually got it on DVD and watched it. And it's worth your time. So good.
Okay, we're down to the last 3 here.
Yep.
So,
Why don't you run that next beautiful clip?
Yeah, this is gonna. I'm sorry. Buttons everywhere.
Shock to your system. Shock!
Okay.
All right.
Static Shock.
Static Shock. And DC Animated Universe finally gets its person of color as the lead hero. They've had people of color as heroes, but not as the lead before. This was groundbreaking. This show went for 4 seasons. Ironically, the 3rd season was the highest rated.
Wow.
Yeah, so that meant the audience was growing during this time.
Growing to it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was a critical darling for a lot of reasons. Ratings were, though, were not as high as they thought. Now, there was criticisms of the show, mainly having to do with the production values. They thought the art could have been better, which if you watch the show, it can be. And some of the jokes that they had, which were kind of what you would call stale. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Now, why do you think this show got canceled?
Probably because of Black Lightning.
No.
Okay.
Black Lightning doesn't show up for another almost 15 years on the television.
Oh, that's right. That was 90 years away. You're right. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. Timeline wrong, but go ahead.
Toy sales did not sell enough junk. Okay. Now, Static Shock was showed up in Justice League. Okay. When he was 60 years old. You see a future one in him of some of the shows. He even went up against the Joker, had Batman and Robin show up, and he was on the Watchtower a couple of times. The best part for me was watching when he went up against the Joker. But the beauty of this show was it dealt with real issues.
Yes.
Gang violence. How do you deal with an angry parent? You did something stupid. What are you going to do now? A lot of teenage stuff, but also a lot of real issues oriented. Now, this is where I have a real problem with DC and Warner Brothers is this show has never been released on DVD.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah. Every other DC animated universe show, movie, whatever, has been released on DVD. This one hasn't.
Yeah.
And I have a real problem with that.
All right. So Brian made a comment that he's looking forward to Michael B. Jordan does with this live action version. I am 100% in the opposite. I think it is the worst thing he could do for his career, and I think he's too old. That is a bad decision. Huh?
I think he's directing it.
Could be. Okay, if he's directing that, then okay, that's fine. I take it back. I wasn't sure. My information's wrong, but you're right. If he's directing this version, then I'm all for it then.
Yeah.
I am all for that. So I take that back. So hopefully they'll get a good actor to play this role because this is a teenager's role.
Yes. Teenager, or as I would say, a freshman in college type of role.
Right. Rachel, did you watch Static Shock?
Yes, I did. I watched Static Shock. I'm surprised to hear it never got a DVD release because I remember watching it quite a lot, and usually a lot of my stuff came from DVDs. So that was weird. But I do. What Jerome was saying about real issues, I remember that quite a lot. The gang violence episode in my memory. There's also this one that like really did stick with me. And I hate to refer to it as this, like just give it a label, but if I had to, I guess I would call it the racism episode. I'm awful with names. It's been so long since I've seen the show, but I remember there was his friend's dad was like, he's like, I don't want you coming over to my house, and he's like, why not? I want to come over to your house, and it's because his dad was not the biggest fan of people of his color, and they handled it very, very maturely, and they didn't gloss over the topic. It was a very mature show with a very mature morals. So I did not
watch this show. I'm not familiar with the storylines in it. Even a comic, I didn't buy nor read the comic. This was just something that I chose not to watch for various personal reasons. It was not something I was going to put on my list.
Yeah, this show, though, I will say this. It created the comic. The show created the comic and the character. And like Harley was created out of Batman, the animated show. So was Static, and his supporting cast were created by this show, which then later created the comic. This was really good. There's lots to talk about on this show, lots to take apart. But it's hard to do it because the only place you can now see it on is the WB's DCU streaming service.
Wouldn't that be? Where did DC Universe go?
I thought it went to HBO Max.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Okay. So they finally did shut down the DC streaming service.
Yes, they did. They did, and everything went to HBO Max.
So that's the only place you can get Static. You can get clips here and there on YouTube, but you can't get whole shows anywhere except for on HBO Max of this show.
Well, Brian is posting something, and I'm wondering. Oh, there we go. He's saying it's all seasons on DVD.
Really?
On Amazon.
All right. I looked recently and I could not find them, so that might have changed. I'll have to go look. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that, buddy.
Because now that's on my Christmas list.
Okay.
I can't say enough of this show. This was a great show. I'll be honest, there were some misses, like any show. And when they missed spectacularly. Yep. But again, Mark, watching Static go up against the Joker was a joy. It was hysterical.
Okay. I'll track that down. At least I can find a clip on YouTube, maybe. All right, let me ask you a question about your next one that you're going to.
Yes.
When was this on?
1995.
But what time of?
I don't know. Hang on a second here. I don't have my grids with me.
Gotcha. Because I'm wondering, was it in fact on Rachel? Maybe you can answer. Was this on Saturdays?
You
don't even know where we're going to, do you?
No, she doesn't.
Okay, let me go ahead and show the clip. Hold on. Let's watch the clip first so we have some information to talk about. I was a fan of the music. I was a fan of the music. So,
okay. So, Rachel, do you remember what time this was on?
I don't remember the time, but I do think it was on Saturdays because I remember watching it on Saturdays.
My memory says it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It was in the later part.
Really? I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the more teenage. Look, the funny thing is 4 seasons.
Oh my God.
Okay, now. But that was my first thought too, Mark, until I actually did the research. This, in the 1990s, you could not swing a dead cat without hitting Goosebumps the books.
Yes,
They
I
were
remember the books.
everywhere.
They literally,
Everywhere.
they literally sold millions upon millions of books per year.
Rose, you need to get that manager.
This series of books was selling something like 3 to 4 million books a year.
Good God.
Yeah, they talk about Harry Potter. Goosebumps was actually selling more than Harry Potter, but because it wasn't just one novel, like Harry Potter was, Goosebumps didn't get their press it did, but it was out there. Kids were reading these. If you go to any sort of kids bookstores, tons of Goosebumps books because of how many were out there. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they take up an entire aisle of children's books because they were thin and you could read through them quickly.
There was an entire section in my my elementary school library dedicated to Goosebumps, like an entire row.
Is this A.L. Stein's work? Is that all his work?
I think it's R.I. or
R.L. Yeah,
R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein.
Yeah,
yeah, and it is. He now when you do something like this, pretty much he didn't write all of them. He probably wrote the first few, and then you ghost write them out, and so on.
Yeah. You said ghost. Oh.
But what was interesting was it was a horror genre.
Huh.
And I mean, really, how often, other than like Scooby, where you do what they did, which was a safe horror, this was really almost Tales of the Crypt, or Tales of the Dark Side.
And that's why I asked, when did this come on? Because this is kind of weird to be shown on Saturday mornings.
This is an interesting topic, actually. The books are some of the most macabre, horrifying things ever. Like, let me give you an example. There's one called The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Silly title. It ends with the main character writing his little sister out of existence and being happy about it, which is...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't I prevent you from watching this?
You did. They played it at my school. You couldn't prevent me from watching their elementary school this time. Afternoon daycare program.
She gets on to me all the time because there are shows I just like Christopher watch whatever. And back when she was little, I was just like, you can't watch this, you can't watch that. And now she's like, he'll be watching something. She's like, you never let me watch that when I was.
And that's the thing I want to bring up to Goosebumps. Really didn't. You would looked at it and you're like, oh, that's horror. That would be too scary for you. The show, the books, creepy. I could understand why you wouldn't want me reading those. The show is the most campy thing of all time. Yeah. It is the campiest thing ever. Like, it can be scary. There are some things that can be scary about it, but mainly it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious to you now, but 8 or 10-year-old probably found it frightening.
It was.
And that's exactly the whole point. And this show is amazing as to how, I mean, it started strong. The first season was a ratings hit like you wouldn't believe. And then it did a slow decline because apparently there was a lot of lawsuits going on between the publishers. There were 2 publishers for the books, and it went back and forth, and it really impacted the show as we got into the 3rd and 4th seasons. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I remember a lot of kids watching this book. I remember watching when I was working in a bookstore back in the 90s and early 2000s before my divorce. Those books were flying off the shelves, and so you knew they did a couple movies, Goosebumps. So
didn't Jack Black do one?
Yes.
Jack Black, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, Mark, if you could be so kind as to hit the next clip. This one is for Rachel.
I'm wondering if I should go get my gun.
Yes.
But I just realized that I can't shoot through my monitor and actually hit anything. So
pull.
I will suffer through this because it's for Rachel.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon.
Bravo! Watching Mark, I gotta say, I didn't realize Pokemon was headbanging music. I thought didn't realize it was a metal song.
That was not my intention. I was going for unconsciousness.
All right, the show that drove every parent crazy.
I'm not a parent.
This, however, though, has some very great historical aspects Where was this kid's mom? That's good, Terry. Look, this is the show that basically made the big breakout for anime in the States. Okay, we talked about in previous shows about things like Speed Racer, Robotech.
Don't mix that quality stuff in with this. What's wrong with you?
We've talked about those in the past, but those all sort of were primer to Pokemon showing up, and this is what got anime big in the United States. Okay,
yeah.
Take about.
What kind of animals are these? What are these?
They're
What are
Pokemon.
they?
They're Pokemon.
You didn't answer my question.
They're
Whatever.
special animals.
Whatever.
All right. So trading cards, action figures, anything else you could be that if it had Pokemon on it, it sold. To this day, it's still that way. Doesn't matter if the show was good or not. This thing was sold, and of course, you had to catch them all. Now, Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong. The lead character is walking around this island, catching and training Pokemon so he can be a Pokemon master in a tournament, right?
Thank you, Willow.
Yes. It's a different location every season, but basically he's traveling across these different regions of the Pokemon world, trying to enter the Pokemon League at the for each region for each season.
Okay. Like I said, the Pokemon, you had to be of a certain age to appreciate it.
My mom appreciates it, so
yeah. Now she does. Did she at the
time?
No,
she did back then.
I love this show. I love the first few seasons of the show.
Half of the running jokes in our family are based around that show. Mainly for my mom around the bad voice acting in some of the scenes.
Yes, it was bad voice acting. Okay.
It was for kids' entertainment.
Is she still talking?
Yes, she is.
Is she still talking?
Yes. So we also had there were a number of other anime shows that showed up after that, Digimon and stuff like that. Polo, whatever. But this is the show that started a lot of things. Now, whether or not you like it or not, like Mark doesn't, you have to give credit where credit is due. Okay. This influenced the art of animation in the United States. Okay, of animation. There was just whole aspects. Now, the less said about the Pokemon movie with Ryan Reynolds, the better.
Well, she liked it.
Was there a movie?
There was a movie. For
It was
nostalgic reasons, I went back and rewatched it, and oh my god, I liked it the first time because I'm like, oh my god, it's a Pokemon movie. Then I went back and watched it, and I was like, oh, this is really bad.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
I got nostalgia blinded. So
yeah.
Oh my god.
Speaking of that, I'm gonna do something really quick. I want to show you how into this show I was.
Uh-oh.
My dad. This isn't something I watched on air. This is something my dad. I would come home from preschool and kindergarten, and my dad would burn, torrent these episodes onto discs, and I'd stay up all night watching episode after episode after episode after episode. And I was into this show so much. I got the cards. This is the interesting thing. I love this show so much. My parents went out of their way to get Japanese merchandise for me, from Japan, and I actually have a few of those.
Oh,
right here.
Crying out loud, woman!
These two things. I've had these for years.
Since you were 6?
Since I was 6. I love this show so much. This was my life. This was my life back then, and my mom can attest to that. This was
her childhood.
This was my childhood.
Rachel, show us your T-shirt. We need a target. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Is it wrong that I was rooting for Team Rocket?
No, not at all. They're legitimately they are legitimately. I know, Mark, you're talking about the writing of the show. Team Rocket.
I'm not talking about anything.
But they have some legitimately fleshed out comic relief villains. They were you could root for them. They all got their backstories, including the mascot character.
Oh, I didn't care about the characters.
And it was really good. I remember I rooted for them sometimes. They were likable characters. And that's what I appreciate about this show. They didn't make me hate anybody. And I think maybe as a kid that was good. It didn't make me hate anybody. It was just a fun show to watch and binge and just was just fun and it's so nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerome, for letting her come on here.
I knew that was right.
So much.
That's part of why I wanted her on here. Is that I knew she'd know these shows, and that was great.
No one warned me.
Oh, on the heck, you were warned.
Just remember, I owe you one. Okay.
No, you can't punch me in the liver anymore. I've had to, had that fixed.
I still haven't grasped the concept of Pokemon. I do look on YouTube sometimes, and in Japan, when they get those 100 Pokemons lined up one by one, and they're walking down the street doing all this I'm like,
to the theme of The Empire Strikes Back.
I felt like Daffy. I felt like Bugs Bunny. Don't shoot. I don't understand this Pokemon thing, but
wait a minute, Rachel, do you play Pokemon Go?
Yes, I did play Pokemon Go.
Okay, see, so she's deep into it. Now, what's the name of with Star Trek's fans, there's Trekkies. With Firefly fans, they're brown coats. What do they call Pokemon fans?
I think they're literally just called Pokemon.
Idiots.
They were not very creative.
Now, did you see the original film where they had, I don't know, it looked like a kangaroo? There was an animated film for Pokemon.
Yes, I've seen them. There was multiple animated films, and I've seen them all. I'm pretty sure I've seen.
You've got them all.
Okay.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know we got one more video to talk about here. But I really need Rachel to go full hilt on this again.
I got this.
While I go and vomit my brains out over my toilet, I want you to please take it from here. Go, Rachel.
I want to be the very best.
That started yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's try it again.
My real test to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide for each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch on as you and me. I know it's my destiny, Pokemon. Yeah, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. But I still think I got it. I was a little too eager. Oh, there is one last thing I want to bring up about this show to show you how into this I was. Back in the day, like I said, my dad printed these to discs. My dad went out of the way. My dad was the coolest guy ever. He went out of the way to get me the banned episodes that were never translated to English, like the one that caused seizures. He went out of his way to get those for me, and my mom and my dad and me would always on the couch because they wouldn't let me watch those alone. And we would watch. They were basically my first introduction to watching, reading subtitles.
So in other words, they were trying to get you to have seizures. Oh my!
My God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, Mark, let us move on to the last clip.
I will pay you whatever you want. Yes.
Let us just hit the clip. Run the next clip because this was also one of my favorite shows of that era. Also,
it was. That's interesting to hear.
I love this show. It was hysterical.
Okay. This is your Earthworm Jim. Hold on for a sec. Here we go. Our final clip. If I can get it to start. Ooh, I'm pressing play.
Uh-oh, that's a lockup issue.
It sure is. Okay, let me pull it back in, see what happens.
Yeah. This show ran 5 seasons on Kids WB.
It went that long?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. No. I'll explain what happened once we run the clip.
Yeah, I got it running. I got it running. Stand by. I'm pulling it all up now. Getting it all on screen. Let's go here. Let's go there. And let's go here and shoot. Impressive.
Terry is right. One more thing was the uncle. One more thing.
One more thing.
Do not listen. This show was basically watching a Jackie Chan film every week.
Oh, that's
okay. Awesome. Now I love Jackie Chan films. I go all the way back to the 1970s with some of his shows, his movies. And what was very fun about this show was they kept it realistic in a lot of ways, even though there was a lot of magic and stuff. Basically, Jackie's rule was if you couldn't move, do a certain martial art, if you couldn't do it the way you could in real life, you couldn't do it on the screen.
Wow.
Okay. Now, then people would say, well, this master could do it. And then he said, yeah, okay, that master can do it, then you can do it. But, you couldn't do like what you would see on Crouching Tiger with, across certain things.
Yes.
There had to be an element of realism to it. He wanted that. He produced the show. He did show up in the live action sections. There were a couple of them where he was doing some exercises. You're looking at, you're going, how the hell can he do that? Where he was doing push-ups with just 2 fingers.
Yes.
But it was there was lots of things like there was an entire season dealing with these Japanese masks, and that was based on a real culture issue. Some of the episodes were just minor tweaks to names of his films that he had done. All sorts of stuff behind the scenes. And now they're looking at doing, in Hong Kong, they did an animation one, like a next generation called the J Team, which I haven't seen yet, but I was seeing on the research. They're talking about doing a live action of this. Jackie Chan himself is talking about doing a live action of this. So, it's going to be fun. But there was just lots and lots of fun with this aspect. And what they did was they made sure they added the culture correctly. So when you're watching the Chinese culture,
that's good.
It is correct.
That's good.
Yeah, and so hence, again, Kids WB and Fox did some really innovative stuff, and this is one of them. Unfortunately, I can't find this on DVD. Maybe somebody else out there can find it for us.
Brian, find it.
But this was a real fun show to watch. It wasn't one of those that required a lot of thought. There was a villain in there. I swore to right up until I did the research on it that it was Randy Savage doing the voice.
Oh,
but it wasn't. But it was a sort of a parody of Randy Savage. The Macho Man. I'm going to hit you with this.
Yeah.
But there's just so much positive to say about this show.
Right.
I don't know if you guys watched it at all or not.
I never saw it.
No, and now I kind of feel bad because I remember hearing about it, and I'd be like, Jackie Chan Adventures, like, this is gonna be like.
Yeah, I thought so too until I watched the first
That's
episode.
Like awful. Like, what is a celebrity cash in? Like, it reminded me of Hammerman. I don't know if you guys know what Hammerman is.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, ugh. But then now that what you're talking about, I feel kind of bad. I might have to check that out, actually.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I'm ashamed, and I think the only reason I probably haven't really watched it was probably up against something else. Much like my Cartoon Grid segment that I did last week. There were a lot of shows that were in competition with each other that I liked, but I couldn't watch because unless I'm, had 3 TVs in my bedroom, I wasn't watching these shows. So that's too bad.
Yeah, and again. The magic that they had was chi based, which is self-spiritual, which again based on in the the Chinese mythologies and stuff.
Sure.
There's a scene. All the time you see Uncle when he's doing it. He's doing a chant, and I can't think of what it is, but it's a real chi prayer chant. Okay, so again, they stayed very faithful. And again, it's hard to describe this because they add actual growth and development through all 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even the villains changed. One of the villains actually started up high and ended up low. You could see, basically his decline. Another of the villains you could see growing up. And it's like, all right, the big guy in white in the back of this picture was originally a villain. And then through Uncle and other growth, he became one of the good guys.
Right.
And how often did you
really? I love stuff like that.
You know what? I can feel Jackie Chan all over this. I'm sure his influences on this was just indisputable, and just knowing the character, the guy himself, Jackie Chan, who we've seen through documentaries and his own movies, I can see him all over this.
Right, and like a lot of his characters in his movies, his character is basically an archaeologist who gets caught up in things. There you go, Terry. That's what it is. Omgawa. Yeah, I can't even do it. That's how it sounds.
Umagwigwi Fidi Sao.
Yeah, something like that. And he's got this blowfish that he sort of waves around.
Very good, Terry. Good job, buddy boy. Wow, that's unbelievable. Okay.
So there you go. There's Kids WB, and that's only pretty much about the first half of those.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I can't think up on the top of my head every single show that these two networks brought out, but it sounds like something we can revisit again, in a different format. So with added stuff. So. But that's great. But what you've given us, what you showed us so far, Jerome, was brilliant. I really appreciate that. It was a lot of memories floating through it. Man, they got to bring, I watch Me TV like crazy. Okay, guys, when I come home from work, I'm looking at Andy Griffin. I'm looking at Gomer Pyle. I'm looking at Petticoat Junction. I watched Beverly Hillbillies this morning, and they always have this crawl going across the bottom right of the screen of the upcoming animated season that they got coming up. I saw Daffy Duck walk across the screen, and he's stamping the ground with "coming soon," and that's all they will say on each one of their little segments. It only says "coming soon," and it's a cartoon character from Warner Brothers, basically, that's showing us that. And I'm like, okay, well, I can get excited, because this is coming, but I just so miss Saturday morning cartoons. It just drives me crazy. But what I really like, go ahead, Jerome.
When you're done, I have one more thing I want to add, an announcement I have to make.
Okay, sure. What I really like is the fact that we have another generation sitting through this, whereas we grew up on this stuff and watched it live. The WB stuff was live for them. Hanna-Barbera stuff was live for us.
Right.
And with you guys sitting, or with Rachel sitting here and basically helping us literally translate what the meaning of these cartoons were to her generation when they were live for her. We talk about what's live for us during the 60s and the 70s. 80s, Rachel comes in and shows us 90s and 2000s and things of that nature, and it's just fantastic, man. I'm really proud of you guys. And every time Rachel come on, you're a joy. You're gonna have to find something else.
Rachel, thank you.
I have an idea, and I want to ask you about after the show.
Okay.
But,
after the show. Oh, okay. All right.
After the show.
All right. That sounds fantastic. Guys, sorry for the late setting. Jerome has an announcement he wants to make, and we'll go ahead and end the show, and you guys can do your shopping like I am.
Okay, the announcement is that after almost 9 months of unemployment, I have accepted a position of employment, so I now have a job. Garrett, that's the announcement I was going to be making. The problem is it's going to be some weird hours, and I don't know if that's going to impact my involvement with this show. And it starts basically on the 30th of November. As I know more, I will let the audience, but I'll especially let Rose and Mark know how this is going to go. And I'm hoping that it will not impact my involvement with the show, because these folks have become my family. And thanks.
They were trying to get you adopted, but okay.
When we started this show, I wasn't sure where we were going with it, and I wasn't even sure. Heck, I barely knew Mark, and I didn't know Rose at all. And now these guys have become family members. And I am I'm really hoping this does not impact my involvement with this show, because I love being here with you.
We hope to, because we can't do without you. You're a great addition to this show, and we're just hoping that and I'm sure I don't need to hope at all. There's no hope in me for what I'm about to say, and that is you're going to do fantastic. You're not going to disappoint. You're going to go over and above what they're going to ask you to do. So none of this surprises me. Even the fact that you got a job, because we told you in the beginning when you were down and out that I literally said to you, I'm not worried. Literally, that's what came out of my mouth at that time. I'm not worried. So there you go.
Thank you. So unfortunately, though, the hours that it is going to impact whether or not I get involved with other shows on the HWWS network.
Yes. Okay. And that's fantastic.
That's my biggest problem, is because I love the people down that network that we are part of. and I love being with them, and they too have become like family members. And I'm just hoping that I've requested special days to work so that I can have my Saturdays free. But we'll see. And I just wanted people to know.
I hope you
that
ain't asking me for Saturdays off, because hell no.
No,
you know.
But I am seeing where things are going. I'll know more for sure next week. So
yeah. Well, we'll wait. We'll figure it out. Even if we have to tape shows, to show on Saturday where you're included in it, then we'll go as far as to do that too. So once again, I'm not worried. So, that's going to be great. That's going to be fine. Rachel, you're fantastic. And
Rachel, thank you for coming onto the show. You helped so much.
We love to see you more. And I think once we do have you more and more involved, then, maybe you can pass this on to people of your generation to watch something. Yeah, sure. We'd love to turn them on to the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show and stuff like that. And you can turn me on to Pokemon. Oh, what did I just say? No.
Oh, no, Rachel, have you ever seen the movie called A Clockwork Orange?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
I say we duct tape Mark in his chair, keep his eyes open with toothpicks, and just make him sit and watch Pokemon.
I will find ways to self-destruct. You will be amazed. Okay, so oh my God. So you got some lovely accolades that are coming across on the screen here. And
I know I see them. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Much with everything like this pandemic, guys, even this shall pass. So don't worry. I have good faith in everyone that I'm associated with, especially HWWS crew. I love you guys dearly. You're my extended family, because my family all live out of state, so I actually have no one. So you will, join us tomorrow as we talk about the Mandalorian.
I'll be there.
HWWS crew, that's cool, and we will talk to you guys then. Deb, you sent nothing. Great comment, Deb. Good job, baby. That's how I like my women. That's how I like my women. Huh?
Yeah, we're
off this next week.
Who?
We're
off next week.
Oh, we are. Yes, I forgot. Next week is Turkey Day. I bought a turkey yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, for $6.10. I have a 12.45 size turkey for $12 for $6.10. It is in my refrigerator right now. I'm not sure how long it's supposed to be in the refrigerator before I actually cook it, but somebody better give me some damn instructions really quick, okay?
Please DM Mark so he doesn't get food poisoning. He doesn't need that.
No. Mark's got the He's got the poison center on speed dial.
Wait. I figure I'm sticking this sucker in the oven tomorrow, right? Because I can't keep it up until Thanksgiving Day. That's kind of too long for it to be sitting in the refrigerator, right?
Yeah, right? Tomorrow's good.
Hello?
Tomorrow, you'll be safe.
Is this thing on? Hello? Yeah. I shouldn't have it in the fridge for longer than that. So we'll see. All right. Hey, guys, I don't have any outro music or applause for you. The computer is really screwed up today, but other than that, thank you guys. We're off next week, and I guess Rose, it's your turn up when we come back, right?
I'll have something figured out by then.
Okay, that's about. I think that's December 2nd. Now I'm getting all these freaking turkey comments. Exciting must-see TV. Mark burns turkey. Won't be the first time. Actually, I don't burn them. I just forget to pull the guts out of them 2 weeks after I've cooked it. Anyway. Yeah. Willow says, I'm sorry. Willow's in Canada, by the way, guys. I'm not sure what your pricing is up there, but somebody from Scotland, I think, just sent me a picture of what their turkey cost over there. $55, guys, is their average turkey.
Wow.
Now, wait a minute. A number of years ago, Cara went to Australia for a friend's wedding before our wedding. Okay. And it was around Thanksgiving. So they went out and got some turkey for her so she could have some, whatever. And then they were going to a zoo, and they went and they looked at a turkey for the first time they had ever seen one. And they said, God, these birds are ugly. No wonder you eat them.
We don't eat them with the feathers still on them, woman. Even the head. We don't even eat them with the head still on. So this is my turkey. There are many like it, but this is my turkey. That's fantastic. Hey, crew, we're going to sign off, but I want you guys to stay for a minute. Got some discussion here. But everyone else, thank you so much for joining Saturday Morning Cartoons. We got some special guests coming up that I just kind of invited. So I think one guy is pretty okay with coming on. So we'll I prefer chicken over turkey. Well, Canadians didn't come to America, woman. Stick with your turkey. I mean, your chicken. All right, Willow. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, Willow, by the way. Yep. All right. So let me turn this sucker off. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll talk soon.